Hello and welcome to the Vlogging Pod. Tonight we are joined by Don Brookes. Welcome to the room, Don. How are you this evening?
I'm well, thank you. It's midnight over here, but 7 o'clock your time, I think.
Yeah, about 7, yes. Quite a bit of time to. I'm so welcome. I'm so honored that you willing to stay up and put some time in with us tonight.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's always a pleasure to speak to people who are interested in reading and books.
Well, yes. I don't know if you know a little bit about me, but I've written 12 myself, and I have a few
Wow.
that oh, thank you. Well, I'm nothing compared to you. Trust me, I've done some research. Trust me, I know. But we're gonna get right into that.
Okay.
I don't know if you saw the title of the room. I put Murder on the Show with Don Brookes.
Yes.
That kind of,
Well,
yeah.
when people ask what I do and I say I kill people for a living, I do get a few funny looks.
Well, I do have one question geared to that, but I don't want to start off with that one. So keep that in mind. We'll
Okay,
get back to that part. So
fine.
I want to talk about just a little bit. 2 years ago, if I get this correct, please let me know if I'm incorrect on this. 2 years ago, you posted a video on YouTube about a cruise to murder, which is one of your books. And
Yeah.
that YouTube channel is
Mm.
now the home of 2.27K subscribers. Talk to me
Yeah.
about how that started.
Well, I guess I was being a little bit over generous, really, because I have I've made a lot of my books have gone into audio book format, and I know how expensive audiobooks are, and people were struggling during the pandemic, and I just wanted to offer people some light-hearted listening, reading.
Mhm.
So I actually put the full audiobook up on YouTube as a video for the book A Cruise to Murder. Because I own the rights to it, to the narration. And yeah, and people loved it. And so people in parts of the world where they were isolated, and I had lots of contacts from people saying that it had helped them through the pandemic. And actually, a lot of you probably had the same, where people have read your books and that helped them through as well. So that's where it started, and I now have four books up on YouTube, which I offer for free. I think actually no, it's five now.
Oh.
Um, but I think I probably will stop there, otherwise I won't make any money ever.
Well, I might have to just go to YouTube and listen to your books, though, if you've got 5 up. Oh,
Yeah,
excuse me.
you do get some advertising, obviously, because I make a little bit of revenues through the advertising.
Right.
So so it's a bit of a swings and roundabouts for people. But
Well, I would
yeah,
say
but
with
it's there.
2.27K subscribers here, you better get some revenue.
Yeah, because that's a lot of giveaways.
Well, yeah, it is. I don't even have that many followers. I think I might have, what, 30, 40 maybe on YouTube. I don't have that many on there. So, but I think that's fantastic. I really do. I find that totally intriguing and so great of you to especially have done it through the COVID. I mean, we still have COVID, but
Sure,
not as
yeah.
serious as we started
No.
out.
Mm.
So tell me the meaning behind this statement. Cozy mystery writer and clean crime writer. What I'm most curious about that statement is the clean crime.
Oh,
So tell me, Tell me the meaning behind that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, is there any such thing as clean crime?
No,
Um,
I was like, "Wait a minute. Do you got some bandits to come in and clean my house because I'm gonna sign up? I need to know where I just let me know where I need to keep the keys under the mat."
yeah, exactly. No, it's just to differentiate between the gratuitous violence with sex scenes
Mhm.
and lots of bad language compared to what I write, which doesn't include any of those things, and that's basically what cozy crime is in a nutshell. And I'm not saying I don't read books that have got all of the above in, well, some of the above maybe. Um, but when people pick up a mystery or a clean crime book, they have certain expectations in their head and they don't want to. I mustn't cross the line when I'm writing for that particular reader.
Right.
So basically,
Oh,
that's what it means.
well, I
Because there's
get
no,
that.
I mean, it's like a good clean murder, but I mean, obviously, there's no murder is horrible in if you take it to reality. But
It
but in
kind of
yeah,
it it kinda reminds me of, Midsummer Murders kinda, like, thing when you say that. Kind of a clean murder.
yeah, Death in
Uh-huh.
Paradise, Midsummer Murders, Agatha Christie,
Yes.
yes, Miss Marple,
Murder She have you heard
yeah,
of Murder, She
yeah,
Wrote?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
those
Yeah.
kind of things, yeah,
Yeah. I love Midsummer Murders, though. I'll be honest with you, that is my fave. It is.
Barnaby. Mhm.
Yes! Yes! I could watch them over I started to get my mother interested in those, and she actually liked them. So, yeah, I she's never heard of them. She's more of a Murder, She Wrote kinda person.
Yeah, yeah, Murder She Wrote is very popular in America, isn't it?
Yeah, but her standards are low. She likes my work. Um,
I'm
so
sure that she's got good taste.
you know how when I started writing, they always said, because when you get writing, you have people, your family and your friends. You can't take those as the thing saying that you're a good writer, because you know,
Because
you know
they
what I'm
love you.
saying? 'Cause yeah,
Yeah.
they love you. My mother always will say, "Well, you write so good." And I'm like, "Yeah, mom, but I can't put that on my resume." My mom likes it.
Oh, I think you can.
Um,
To be
so
honest, when my brother told me like my writing, I was absolutely shocked because he's never liked anything I've done in my life.
oh, wow. Now my husband is the most, he critiques me very seriously. It's almost like earth-shattering when he gets the red pen out. I'm like, "What? What? What are you doing?" So, from 1970 to the early 1980s, talk to me about the memoirs.
77.
Oh,
I'm not that
77.
old.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not that
Okay,
old.
okay.
Yeah, basically in 1977 I started nursing as a career, and the first books I wrote were a series of memoirs based around my nurse training back in those days, because it was really strict and I was growing up at the same time. I mean, I was 18 when I started nursing, and you grow up very quickly in a job like that. And I just wanted to cover some of the, because although it was absolutely terrifying and a lot of growing up to be done, it was such fun. Back then, we had such fun during training. So I just wanted to cover those years in and sort of like a little expose of the serious, the good, the bad, and the ugly, really.
That's really interesting. And did you make those available? You still have those published, yes?
Yes, they are still, yeah, they're still there. The Hurry Up Nurse series, they are.
Okay, the
Um,
Hurry Up Nursery.
Yeah, books 1, 2, and 3.
Okay. I'm writing that down. I always like to look up different books, and I'm always intrigued. So, talk to me a little bit about, and please let me know if I've got the wrong data here because I was doing a little bit of research. And I know you've mentioned it in your bio, but I had to do a little digging.
Hmm.
Is it the Oakwood Literature Festival in Derby? Am I getting that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
All right. So, tell me now if I'm correct even more, you started this, right?
Yeah, yeah, I did. It's Oakwood is the area that I live in Derby. It's a little suburb of North Derby in England, and
Okay, is it Darby or Derby? Darby?
it's Derby. We say
Darby.
as it's spelled Derby, but we pronounce it Darby. So Derby.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Um, I know nothing makes sense in England.
Oh, no, no. Actually, I saw a comedian and he was on stage and he talked about aluminum. Well, you guys pronounce it differently and you emphasize the I in it more. And he
Yeah,
was like, "There's
Illumini.
no
Yeah.
yes," and he was like, "There's no I in that." And so he brings it up on stage. He goes, "Okay, you guys got one right." So yeah, but I think you guys I think it's just about pronunciation and around the world
Yeah,
kind of turn, it just depends on your environment about how things are pronounced. But
absolutely,
anyways, right.
absolutely.
So it's in Derby, right? So tell me how the festival got started.
Well, I had this idea that it would be good. There's a big festival in Derby, but it's for big authors
Mhm.
and well-known celebrities. Really, that might have only they may have written one book, they may have written 10 books, but it's quite exclusive and great. And I go to it myself, so I have no criticism of it. But there wasn't anything for mid-list sort of starting out or indie authors.
Mhm.
So that the idea behind it was to just have something local to get people invited to, and I wanted initially to make it free. Again, I love my freebies.
Me too. Me too.
Yeah.
So
So
how long? Go
yeah,
ahead.
yeah, we've been. I started it. I actually launched it at the same time as I launched my first novel, which was in 2018.
Okay.
We've had a few years off because of the pandemic. Obviously, we had lots of lockdowns over here. I'm sure you
Mhm.
had the same.
Oh yeah.
Um, and so we did do something last year. We haven't done anything this year because we're still sort of getting back on our feet in terms of people. I mean, obviously, life's more or less back to normal now, but
Right.
but some people are still quite cautious. So yeah, I think it will continue, but again, it's a lot of hard work once a year for the putting on of a day, and I like to have a little kids event as well.
Right. Now you
So
did some interviewing through the festival, correct?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it started off as a day where we would have author panels where we could discuss different genres, and I think the first couple we had fantasy authors, children's authors, murder mystery writers, obviously crime fiction. Um, yeah, so we do a lot of interview panels. We also have guest speakers who maybe will do a presentation to a big hall.
Mhm.
But it is more about getting up close and personal with the authors. So panels are nice because you can have them in a little room, and and people can just ask questions and get to know people.
Now, I find now I didn't have this on my questions, but I have several computers in here, and I have one particular opened up to your website. And one thing I find really interesting, and like I said, this isn't on my question sheet, but as I look over at your website, I have to point out if you've never been to Dawn's website, which by the way, the link is in the bio, it is also for those who are just listening and not really looking at the ad in and the tongue tied in the room. She has it very interesting. You have how many series you have up in numbers. You have how many pages have been read, your YouTube views, and your book sales. Quite impressive.
Yeah, I try to update that about once a month. So
Hmm.
so yeah, it's not been updated. It was updated the end of May, so it'll probably be updated again the end of June. But yeah, it's just to give people a snapshot of what I'm up to, really.
Well, it's impressive. It really is. It's like, dang.
Thank
And she
you.
wants to be on my
Of course I do.
show. So when we started out in the beginning, because I pointed out the name of the room based on what the genre you write,
Mm.
that brings me back to that question I said I had for you. So let's talk about the drive for murder. Tell me what keeps you interested in wanting to do murder plots.
Actually, I suppose I'm the most non-violent person in the world. I am
Mhm.
an absolute pacifist. I don't
Mhm.
understand violence, and so it goes completely against everything I believe in. But I divorce myself from that, and because what I love about murder mysteries is the puzzle.
Mhm.
Um, so so I guess, and I sort of grew up reading initially Enid Blyton's famous five, where obviously there weren't murders because they were kids, but it was there was lots
Mhm.
of crimes that had to be solved by these five children. And then I moved on to Agatha Christie's Miss Marple, and we had series over here called Morse and Frost, which are
Mm.
police procedurals.
That I've
Um,
watched.
yeah, and I fell in love with the genre, but I'm not into gore or graphic violence.
Mhm.
And uh, again, I suppose that's why I settled for cozy mystery when I first started to write *A Cruise to Murder*, which is the first novel I wrote. Initially, it was going to be a little bit more thriller-esque, and I found I didn't like that I couldn't write it. I don't mind reading it, but I couldn't bring myself to write that sort of thing. So I switched it and made it more of the cozy with some humour. I don't. There are cozy mysteries vary from the absolutely bonkers with talking animals and all sorts of things to uh, to my sort of writing, which is more about there's a murder which happens off screen, really, and
Mhm.
then you get involved with the characters, and it's all about the characterizations and unraveling this plot and motives and finding the killer out of a number of suspects.
Mm. Now, speaking of your work,
Yeah.
excuse me, you have the newer one coming out. It's Murder at Wimbledon Mansion. Tell us about the
Oh,
book.
yeah, that came out in April. I've actually got another one coming out this month. But Murder,
Ooh.
Murder at a Wimbledon Mansion uh, sort of takes. That's my. That's that's a series that's spun off from my cruise ship mystery series. There's an elderly lady who often joins my protagonist, for the cruises, and she's in her, well, let's say mid to late 80s now. She must be. She must. If I was going in real time, she'd be knocking on to 100 now. But she, she's, we still call her an octogenarian, and that
Uh-huh.
the series, which a uh, uh, murder at Wimbledon Mansion, is her and a quirky cousin-in-law who initially she doesn't get on with at all, who's late 70s, because Lady Marjorie is very upper class and Edna is very much working class
Oops.
speakers you
That's sorry.
find.
That was my timer, but go ahead. Keep going.
Yeah, she's speakers you find, and then they have two male chaps that help them. So it's a gang of four, really. I call them the awesome foursome, and and they get involved in crime. And that particular book is also around my love of Wimbledon tennis, and we're coming up to
Ooh.
Wimbledon tennis season, and yeah, so it doesn't actually occur at Wimbledon, the murder, but they are visiting the tennis whilst solving this murder that goes on in this mansion house.
Right. I want to thank you so much, Dawn, for being with us tonight. You were actually delightful. I would have to say you are the epitome of what everyone wants for a guest on their show.
Oh, thank you. Well, to be honest, you're a lovely host, so I thoroughly
Well,
enjoyed
thank
being
you.
with you.
Well, thank you so much. I would love to have you back anytime. You were delightful. You are
Thank
delightful, I
you.
should say that.
Yeah. Yes, I'm not going to be murdered.
No, don't do that. No, don't do that. So thank you so much for being on the show.
Uh,
To everybody
thank,
else who go ahead.
yeah, no, thank you for having me.
Oh, it was a pleasure. It truly was. For everyone who's waiting for my little Amazon of the deal of the day, something I've tried to keep on with because I kind of find it fun. Today I found the most unique thing. Well, it's not really unique, but I love Paperwhite. I like to look at the books and it's actually without the glare, but most things are going through Kindles and everything now. So I found the Kindle Paperwhite 8 gigabytes now with 6.8 display and adjustable warm light with black light. It's 21% off, down from its $139 to $109. I'll have the link in the bio if anyone's interested, because I love to get my read on. I want to thank our listeners for coming in tonight, as always. Until next time, guys. Bye bye for now.